Folks, Dre here, Recovery One Drones. It's been a busy weekend for me, and I have a little bit of experience I want to share with you that I had yesterday. If you watched my other video when I was in Fontana, California, and I had to go to Paris, California, which is about a 35 minute drive from each location. And I had I want to say not unique, but it kind of caught me off guard. This goes to show all the planning in the world is great and preparation is great, but you always got to make sure, try to expect the unexpected and also follow your emergency procedures, because I almost lost my drone. And I'll tell you all about it right now. As I said before, I was down in Paris, California, just south of the March Air Base, and I set up my area flight operations just south of north of a Walmart facility. I was actually in a semi-cul-de-sac area, but I'm also in zero ceiling space. Okay, the grid is zeroed out for the whole flight. The area I was flying to take a video of was also in zero airspace. Like I said before, I have a COA for the area, so I was not overly concerned about my status flying there, since I already have the approval by the FAA. I follow all of my guidelines as far as with my COA and everything else, so I was good to go for as much as I knew. As I initiated a orbit around the property I was flying, everything was going very smooth, very confident what was going on, and then all of a sudden I hit a invisible wall. I was about 3/4 done with the orbit, and then I hit this invisible wall. And I saw one warning said I was getting close to the flight path. And I said, okay, I'm almost done. Hopefully I'll be able to avoid it and go from there, because it doesn't tell you on the warnings how much distance, how far, whatever the case is all of a sudden you're flying, and then all of a sudden you're not flying. So when this happened, I was more concerned that maybe I had a flaw in the software, because I was using Litchi for this flight. So I was more concerned of me having an issue with the software and just need to come back and maybe reset a few things, parameters in the software, and initiate the flight again. But because of the amount of time I took checking all the other things, when I tried to bring the drone back, it wouldn't respond. It was just hovering. So at this point, I knew I'd come to the assumption that I'm stuck in this airspace, and I got to find out when's it going to release me. Normally when you get stuck in controlled airspace, usually a restricted area, a no-fly zone area, you have a certain amount of time. Usually you have about 30 seconds to a minute to exit out of that area. Once you do not do that, the drone will become pretty much stuck there until it reaches a low battery. You go into auto land. So I had to wait for another 5 minutes until the drone went into auto land mode for me to gain control of the drone again. I was over a housing development at the time, and I didn't want to land in somebody's yard, especially a backyard. So as this drone is descending, I gained control of the drone again, and I was able to make it out of the housing area, down the street, into what I thought was a field, a green field, but it turned out to be a park. As I was lowering down, getting lower to the ground, I lost transmission feed because I'm so far away, and then I got buildings and houses blocking my signal, that the last thing I saw was the drone heading towards a sidewalk, curved face, and I see green grass. So I'm just assuming it landed in the grass. So I jumped in my vehicle using the Find My Drone program within the DJI smart controller. And I knew the drone still had enough battery, so I followed the signal in my vehicle, and I was able to locate the drone. It was right next to a chain link fence area of a chain link fence off of tennis courts, and it was upside down. So my first thing was, oh, what happened to the gimbal? Well, the gimbal seemed to be intact, no problems, but I did lose, out of the 4 props, 3 of them were damaged. Two front ones were completely sawed off, and one of the rear ones had a crack in it. But the drone was operational. Like I said, I always carry extra props, things like that, just in case you have incidents like this. You're able to continue flying. Did a complete gimbal adjustment and reset on the gimbal, and continue on with the rest of my flights. And I guess the message I'm saying here is that, follow your, I said you should have some emergency operation checklist to go by. Like I said, it was not for my training and going through my emergency operation process. What happened could have been a lot worse. Could have landed, my drone could have been lost in somebody's backyard or whatever the case might have been. It could have landed in traffic, but I had enough situational awareness of what I needed to do and what I wanted to do to be able to get that drone away from the housing area and got into an open green space area to land it. So I was trying to avoid any more problems by getting the drone away from structures and people and cars and everything else, and landed in a nice safe area. So this is what we talk about, emergency procedures, is that you got to have these things instilled in you. Like I say, part of training. When I go out, it's all about training. No matter if I'm flying for fun, flying other missions, I'm thinking about what am I going to do in case this happens. And this is the mindset you need to have when you're out flying. Like I keep trying to tell people, yes, this can be fun, yes, this can be relaxing, but you still have what is classified by the FAA, an aircraft that is in the sky. And there comes a certain amount of responsibility and a certain amount of risk that always be there, no matter how much preparation you go into play. We hear about these single engine planes going down, and I'm sure these people all did their checks prior to taking off, but an engine can fail just as quickly as a drone goes down. So this is my tip, from me to you, that even with all the preparation in the world, things can go wrong. But if you practice and thought about your emergency procedure, your checklist, you can continue to have a safe descent in a safe area if all possible. Once again, this is Dre Crawford, Recovery One Drones. As I always say, hang on, enjoy the ride, and please subscribe. Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.